Fundraisers, I'm Don Lego. It's time to buckle up again for a new episode of Raise Nation, the one and only podcast made to inspire fundraisers like you to continue making impact in our communities, building better tomorrows and exchanging ideas. So whether you're a trailblazer or seasoned pro, you'll pick up the trends that transform your fundraising. And together, we'll dive into lively conversations and chat with industry-leading fundraisers and thought leaders to explore hot-button issues and innovative ideas. So stay with us for the next 30 minutes while we inspire you to embrace the future of fundraising. All right, let's get going. It's another great episode of Raise Nation Radio. And today we're going to talk about maybe a sensitive subject, but yet a very important subject. So it requires the discussion. I have with me the executive director of Until There's a Cure, Nora Hanna. Hi, Nora. How are you? It's so good to have you on the show. Thanks for being a guest.
Thanks for having us, Dawn. I'm really excited to be given this opportunity to talk about what Until There's a Cure is all about.
Well, you know what? Perfect segue. Why don't we tell all of our listeners out there about your mission, the cause? I can't wait to get into the bracelet conversation, but let's just start with, let's get our audience knowing you a little bit better. So would you mind giving that great introduction and then tell us a little bit about Until There's a Cure?
Yeah, thank you. So our foundation was started in 1993 by two moms in California that were really concerned about what the world was going to look like for their children.
Oh.
Yeah. So we were the first organization of any kind to use a bracelet to raise funds and awareness for a disease. And since 1993, we've reinvested over $23 million in the fight against HIV and AIDS. Our mission today is still to raise funds and bring awareness to the disease. But HIV and AIDS in 2022 is not what it was in 1993.
Well, let's stop right there. What are the differences in 2022? What is that, a decade? Almost a decade. What are the differences from 1993?
The big differences in 1993, when you were diagnosed, it was a death sentence. There wasn't a lot of treatment as prevention. And today, there's definitely been huge scientific gains so that a person living with HIV can live a very happy and productive life. There's PrEP, which is pre-exposure, and then there is PEP, which is post-exposure.
Okay, wait, PrEP and PEP?
So PrEP is what you would take on a daily basis to reduce your chance of contracting HIV.
Okay.
PEP would be what you would take the day after if you feel like you've been exposed to HIV through a partner.
Okay.
So that was not around in 1993.
Okay.
In 1993, we weren't really sure. You know, there was the cocktails. People were taking 22 different pills. And today, it was just very, very tragic. I come out of the fashion industry. So I was in fashion in San Francisco.
Whoa, wait a minute. You were in fashion turn nonprofit? That's a
So
big
I started, I was in the fashion business and living in San Francisco. And then in 1993, I was living in New York. Okay. And I took care of two of my best friends until they passed.
Oh, Nora, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Passed of AIDS?
Yes. AIDS-related. Yeah, AIDS-related diseases. So, you know, the magic age was 38. I mean, Kurt was 38 years old when he died. Robert was
young.
38. Very, very young. So I had my own jewelry company for a while. And then one day I was just like, I'm not getting joy out of this. How do I take my skill set and do something with it?
Transferable skills.
I was wearing the bracelet since 1994. after Kurt and Steve died. So I'd always had the bracelet and had no idea it was in my own backyard. I had moved back to the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
And until there's a cure, I was looking for a sales manager. And I interviewed and convinced them that they shouldn't hire me full time, that they should hire me as a consultant. And they agreed. And I closed my jewelry business and became the executive director 9 months later. And it has just been very fulfilling. It's the right thing for me to be doing. And I'm able to use my skill sets from being in the fashion business, be it design, buying, manufacturing, all of that, to help bring products to market for until they're secure.
Yeah. Wow. It sounds like the stars were aligned, and to you, I applaud that. That's an amazing career jump, really. I've heard a lot of career jumps, but from the fashion industry to nonprofit. But it takes a special kind of person. So to all our listeners and all the fundraisers and fearless fundraisers out there, let's take a moment to pause and thank you for what you do every day. I mean, I know you're doing it because you're feeling more fulfilled and you're making the world a better place. And I applaud that. That's an amazing story. And so I think that segues into the whole bracelet concept and what you do as one of your major fundraisers. Is that right?
Yes. So,
and I love this. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the bracelet.
So we sell bracelets, and our original is still manufactured in Italy. It comes in silver plate, sterling, stainless, and variations. Inside the cuff is a little plaque that says, "Until there's a cure." Aww. And on the outside is a raised ribbon. Everyone has to remember that the AIDS ribbon was the first, and then everyone jumped on the ribbon bandwagon. So that's still our number one seller. When I started in 2009, I really took a look at our product offerings, and I'd been wearing the bracelet since 1994, but I hadn't come back to buy anything else, because you put your bracelet on and you keep it on until there's a cure. So
that's the whole premise.
That's the whole premise.
Got it.
So I started looking around, and we were very fortunate in that there were a few Peace Corps workers who had contacted us about working with artisans in different communities in Africa. And one of them was in Namibia. And these beautiful artisans who are living with HIV, take recycled PVC piping, cut it in strips, burn it, hand carve it, so it looks like bone.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So we started buying from them. So we buy directly from the women making these products, which allows them to send their daughters to school, housing, food, all of it. And it gives them a sense of pride. We give them a small grant to start, and then we continue. We do not keep anything exclusive. They can sell their product to anyone they want. I help with some designing, but more than that, I helped teach them how to cost.
So until there's a cure is really has multiple missions. I mean, you're bringing awareness to HIV and AIDS and selling bracelets to fund the mission to do that work. But then you're also sourcing your fundraising items, if you will, right? You're sourcing that in places that are compromised and are also affected by HIV or AIDS. And then you're actually teaching and mentoring and building that community so that they can thrive and positively affect future generations. And it's really, talk about the circles of life. I mean, yes. Multiple circles of life going on here.
Yes. And what we've really tried to do is empower, educate, and embrace these women. And most of the people we work with are women, to really stand on their own, to really celebrate who they are.
Oh, so let's add that to the mix. You're also female empowerment on top of everything else.
And really to celebrate life.
Yeah.
And really, you educate a woman, you educate a village, which then educates a county. And we see tremendous change.
Wow. I really want to hear about that change, but let me dial back to the bracelet. So you have the bracelet so that your supporters or your donors from Until There's a Cure actually purchase them. Yes. It's a statement piece, right? I'm wearing this until there's a cure, right? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of an awareness statement piece, and you that's your fundraising. But then do you also offer these bracelets in other capacities?
Well, we are online. We have an online store. Mm-hmm. We're on Amazon. We're on Overstock. Wow. We're on Walmart.com.
Do other nonprofits buy maybe your bracelets in bulk and use it for their organizations as well? Is it?
Well, what we do with other organizations, we're here to serve. So for other organizations, we will send in our bracelets. They don't have to buy them up front.
Wow.
Because, they're a nonprofit. So we'll send in a collection and allow them to have like a little pop-up boutique, if you will. Mm-hmm. And whatever they sell, we split the money.
Wow.
So that it's not upfront for them. We work with other nonprofits, big and small, and we'll donate bracelets for silent auctions.
Wow.
So it really is about partnering in the true sense.
So you get a portion because, you have to cover your fees and your shipping and your sourcing and your expertise, right? So you're probably just breaking even, but you're really helping so many other nonprofits have their voice, their statement piece, their opportunity to fundraise. And why reinvent the wheel every time? Because we've got Nora, who's been in the fashion industry and kind of knows how to assemble this. So you're really just affecting so much change. I'm fascinated how we have a great audience that's listening right now, and I'm sure they're fascinated too. How does a nonprofit get in touch with you to get this grant or get this relationship going or parlay this into what they're doing? How do we get in touch with you? Is it all on the website?
All on the website. And, anyone can email me, info@until.org will get me. And I am one of those people that every email I get, I do answer. Even if it's to say, I'm sorry, we can't help, or yes, give me a call. Mm-hmm. You never know where relationships are going to go.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I brought from the fashion industry is networking. Just reach out and talk to people. When I first started, I didn't know anyone. So I was just calling people up. Hey, I'm new. Can I talk to you? And that's, basically how.
Well, that's how we met, right? Right. You right. That's so, I'm glad that I was almost worried for a minute. I'm like, oh my God, do I do the same thing? Do I respond to every email? I hope I do. I think I do, but now you're reminding me that's exactly how you met. You were like, hey, let's talk. I'm like, hey, and I'm fascinated by this whole, I can only call it circles of life. That's all I could think of. You're just affecting so many different circles. It's remarkable. And I'm like, hey, let's bring this to the fundraising community. Let's let everybody know about it.
And so what we've done in conjunction with all of that is we really have reached out to the next generation. Mm-hmm. So on top of this, we run an internship program. And we have a sister site called How I Value Life, which is HIV Life.
HIV Life. Oh my gosh. Okay. Got it. It's all tied. It all connected. Yeah.
And that's where we look at the social intersections of injustice and HIV risk.
Oh.
So we will take, we start in high school all the way through grad school. Mm-hmm. And we'll go for a summer and work in homeless camps with hygiene bus providers, where the interns and I will actually, after every client takes a shower, clean it for the next shower. Mm-hmm. And really sit and talk to these people and just listen to their stories. Mm-hmm. And really try to, figure out what we can do to educate them on the risks of HIV and being homeless. We also
why does HIV and homelessness go? Why are they paired?
So people that are homeless, mm-hmm. are desperate and sometimes self-medicate.
Okay.
Which puts them at risk for condomless sex.
Okay.
Survival sex work.
Or
drug use. Mm. So that puts them at risk.
I see.
And trying to keep someone that is unhoused in continuous care is not always easy. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of
heartbreaking
benefits that are available, but it's hard to have that person continue their care. And the one thing we did find out was when we were talking to Hazel in Oakland, California, we were just chatting, and her response was, "You're the first person not to tell me what I need to do. You're the first person to ask me what I'd like to do."
Is that right? Wow. That's powerful right there.
Yeah. So really sitting and understanding society and how, as a society, how we can help reduce HIV. Mm-hmm. So the interns, it's a real hands-on experience. It is for them to understand that in 1993, you were defined by your diagnosis. You mm-hmm. had HIV. In 2022, if you are diagnosed with HIV, that's just a part of who you are. That doesn't define you anymore. And that's
as it shouldn't. Yeah, as it shouldn't.
So that's what we're trying to get the next generation to understand. But the biggest risk of HIV is believing that it's not a risk anymore. Mm-hmm. So that's why.
Who needs to believe that? The person that's
society,
been exposed, or society,
all
or
of us,
right? Okay,
all of us. Mm-hmm. So that's why we spend a lot of time working with that next generation. Mm-hmm. Really understanding, people that have been formerly incarcerated, when they come out, cannot go into public housing. So they end up back on the streets. Mm. And while they were in prison, they were in care. Coming out, they have no place to go. They're out of care. So all of this needs to be addressed. And that's why we really do care about the next generation getting involved. And that's why we created How I Value Life. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So that goes hand in hand with us selling our bracelets to fund that, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. It sounds like, again, those circles of life. So tell me a little bit about the women that are making the material that you need, from, reducing PVC, and that sounds like an amazing process. But can we hear some of the stories? I loved what you said earlier. Educating one woman educates a whole village and affects change. Take us through that journey. What have you seen? What's the story that, it started here and now it's here? Can you?
I'll share two stories.
Great. I want to hear them.
One is we work with a group in Zambia, and they make these little tiny pocket elephants. Because everyone goes on a safari, wants to bring home an elephant, but you can't fit it in your pocket. Mm-hmm. So we worked with a major retailer and had gotten very large orders right before COVID hit.
Oh.
So we rushed and got them out of Zambia. And I wasn't even sure the retailer was going to take them anymore because of COVID, but we couldn't let the ladies... the product was finished. Yeah. So we got them here. We paid them right away. And fortunately, the retailer lived up to their commitment and took all the goods. But during this time, I was just feeling down and out. Why am I doing this? Why do I work so hard? Nothing's happening. The world's shut down. What do I do? And I got a note from one of the ladies in Zambia saying, "Thank you. You kept our village alive for 5.5 months."
No. Oh, I have chills hearing that.
So after crying, I said to my assistant, I called her and I said, okay, we have to work twice as hard now to get this going. And that's why we do it. That's why we are constantly looking for different avenues to sell our products, because it directly affects a person.
Yeah, a village.
A village. And then the second one is...
You're not going to make me cry twice, are you?
No. So we
well, it's okay. They're good stories.
We do these little tiny beaded pins. They're called Little Travelers. They come with their own passport. They come from South Africa, Wozamoya. And we love these women, just love them. So different, we have a soccer player, we have a ballerina, we have Rainbow Warrior. And there was this one pin that came in and we were like, oh, she's so cute. And there was a note that said, her name is Gladys, just like me. Please don't change my name. So the woman that made it wanted it to be called Gladys. Yeah. So that's our Gladys doll. And it's one of our most popular, but these are amazing. You can wear them on a lapel. All my little nieces and nephews have it on their soccer bags and their ballerina bags, and they just spark joy. Yeah.
Oh my God. I can't wait to check them out. And it's just, and really you can be a supporter of until there's a cure, and just purchase some of this jewelry for yourself and know that you're wearing jewelry for the greater good, which is kind of neat. It's beats going into a retailer and picking, that's joy, but this is more joy. You could go online, you have that whole retail site, but then you can also be proactive with your own fundraising and generosity or philanthropy or entrepreneurial spirit, and actually partner with you to, be that bigger, more mass distribution. So there's just so many ways to work with you. And do you say no to anything? Does any email come across where you say no to? It sounds like you say yes to everything.
I really do try and work with as many people as possible. The fact that somebody took the time to sit down, write me an email and reach out, I will have a conversation. And if I can't help, I will think of somebody that can help. So, we have to remember that we're all trying to do the same thing.
There you go. Right. We all have common
just
interests.
have to help each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
wow.
Ours is the gift that keeps on giving.
For sure.
And that's how we try and approach every day.
So what type of, because we have, Raise Nation Radio speaks to the fundraising community, and hopefully all in a good way. But what type of nonprofit is ideally suited to work with you?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Well, we work with schools, really trying to educate the next generation. We have these really adorable, cute little silicone jelly bracelets in 10 different colors.
Oh, kids love those, huh?
And they can be used as a fundraiser for World AIDS Day. For
when is World AIDS Day? When is that?
December 1st.
December 1st. Okay.
And we have a complete handbook on how to run the event, sample letters to the principal, sample letters to your teachers. It was actually written by an intern who was 14. So it's very user friendly. So we work with schools. We work with food pantries. We work with, homeless organizations. And other HIV/AIDS, harm reduction, medical clinics across the board. Yeah.
I guess I never really stopped to think how HIV is so commingled with so many other missions and causes. This is first time I've ever thought about that. So thank you, Nora, for bringing that to my attention. It really is commingled for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So we deal with stigma, homelessness, mental health, mass incarceration, women. It is across the board.
Yeah, it sure is. So where are we going from here? So we've seen tremendous progress from 1993 to 2023. Oh, wait, that's 20 years. Did I say decade before?
That's okay.
Yeah, I just realized, well, my math teacher would not be proud of me, although I did very well in math. I don't know why. That was such easy math that I fumbled. But so from 1993 to 2023, you can see some progress, right? You can Definitely. See a real change all the way around, and that's wonderful. So take us through the next decade or two, depending on my math. Where are we going? What would you like?
We need a vaccine. We need a vaccine.
What state are we in for that vaccine?
There are so many great scientists out there working on this. It's not easy. HIV hides and reservoirs, and it's not an easy disease. It's not for lack of trying. People have dedicated their lives to this to try and find a cure. We still believe that a vaccine's our best shot, and we still believe that it will be discovered in the next 5 to 10 years.
You do? Wow, that's very promising.
Yeah. So, and until that, we're not going anywhere. And until then, we're still going. There's still a lot of work to be done. Even if we do find the vaccine, there's still work to be done in regards to stigma, in regards to all the social injustices that do intersect with HIV.
And that's really sad, because I think stigma and social injustice is just so rampant in so many different missions, right? And
yes.
you would, it's hard enough to go through whatever, medical ailment that you're suffering. But when the stigmas are laid on top of it and the social injustice is laid on top of it, you would think that in 2022, we were just making some progress, live and let live and be more accepting and kind and judgment free. But it
seems like we're going backwards.
I hate hearing that.
Yeah. But I'm an optimist. I'm that glass half full.
Mm-hmm.
And, I truly believe that if we all join forces and work together, it's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen.
Yeah. Wow. You're so inspiring. Such words of inspiration for all the fundraisers out there that have hard jobs, right? We do hard things, right? Not to quote that other wonderful podcast, but it's not easy work, rewarding work, but sometimes it's not easy. And I'm so grateful that you got that one email that said, hey, you know what? You kept us going for 5.5 months. That gave you the inspiration that you needed, because we all need to inspire each other to just keep going. Sometimes it's hard. It's not
hard.
easy work.
And a lot of people don't recognize that, it's not something that when you close the door at the end of the day, you can say, oh, I'm done for the day.
Right. You're not
take
right.
it with you at all times.
24/7, 365 days. Yep. Yes. 7 days a week. Yeah. So what does a day in the life of Nora look like? You're laughing at me.
Every day is a little different. So one day I put on Let's Design Merchandise Day. Another day could be let's reach out to all our retail partners. It could be that I get a call from someone who has just been diagnosed and didn't know who else to call.
Oh.
So it just depends. And then, there's days where I get to talk to, my partners in Louisiana, and, Monica makes me laugh all day, and it's a great day. So, and then sometimes when it's really a tough day, I just take my dog and go for a long walk, have a little cry, come back, do it all over again. Yes.
Well, fur friends, nature, and crying really can do a lot for the soul, right? Get it all out.
Absolutely.
Yep. Wow. This has just been so inspiring. I mean, I love all the stories. I get to chat with a lot of fundraisers and nonprofits and executive directors like yourself. But I'm truly humbled and by, just your character and your get up and go attitude and your positivity and, until there's a cure is lucky to have you. Are those founders still involved? Are they still very present?
One of the founders is very involved. And in fact, her daughter sits on our board as well. So It is a family affair.
That's great. Yeah. And you've done a lot, this little family, circles of life for sure. Well, I can't believe we've been talking for a half hour. I feel like, we just logged on and I was like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. And now here we are 30 minutes later. What other words of inspiration do you have for all? I mean, you've been so inspiring this entire episode, but what other words of inspiration do you think that you have for either the people you serve or the people you haven't met yet, or what other words do you have for us today?
As I said to my interns one year, does anyone in the room know anyone that has been infected? And everybody's like, no. And I said, are you sure? Until we can get to a point where, people don't feel it necessary to hide their diagnosis, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
And we have to be kind to each other. You don't know what somebody's going through. You don't know anything, As a society, we are very good at putting on that face. Oh, it's fine. Everything's fine. Yes. And
so afraid of being ostracized, right? It's just the stigma and the social injustice is real.
So just be kind. Yeah. So simple to say. And so hard
to do.
Many.
Well, let's make it simple to do, not just.
I agree.
Yeah. Oh, you're just so beautiful. How can we get in touch with you? So it's until.org, is that right? Or until.com?
No, until.org.
Okay.
And HIVlife.org.
Mm-hmm.
And you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at until.org. We also have the interns last year did a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Empowering Voices.
Oh.
And what they did was they interviewed someone that had direct impact or related to HIV in all kinds of different ways. So that's kind of fun. That's on HIVlife.org.
Mm-hmm.
Just really connecting and allowing people to tell their stories.
We need to hear them for sure.
Yeah. And it really is for the next generation to understand what happened.
Well, let's not give up on the current generation. I believe that we can change mindsets too.
Yes. But it really is that we don't want those stories to get lost because the science has taken us so far away from there. Mm-hmm. We don't want those stories to be lost.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I hope many people get in touch with you. I hope our paths cross again. You're doing some amazing things. I think I'm just going to start with your one website because hopefully I can get everywhere else from until.org. Yep. And I know if I ever send you an email that I'll get a response. So
definitely you will.
Yeah. Yes, really. Great practices.
Thank you
that you
so
got
much
there.
For having us. It's been a joy.
Nora. Thank you. Well, Fearless Fundraisers, that's about all we have time for today. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's Raise Nation topic and your daily dose of fundraising inspiration. Tune in for a new episode release every Thursday at 12:30 p.m. That's Thursdays, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But in the meantime, listen to all the episodes on Raise Nation Radio. Follow the channel that you like best, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcast, so that you can get the notifications about our guests. Fundraisers are doing amazing things to build better tomorrows for our communities. You just heard it from Nora. Amazing things. The stories are awe-inspiring. You won't want to miss a single episode. I'd like to thank our sponsor, One Cause, for making this episode possible. One Cause is driving the future of fundraising with easy-to-use software solutions that help nonprofits connect with donors. Be sure to check them out at onecause.com and visit the resource tab on their homepage for a broad catalog of ebooks, blogs, and all the content that you need. Hopefully, you'll find it all helpful. A huge shout out again to Executive Director Nora Hanna from Until There's a Cure. Thank you so much, Nora, again, for being here today.
Thank you.
And all your fearless fundraisers out there, please do me a favor, stay fearless, stay positive, just like Nora, and stay inspiring. Thank you again so much for this episode. That's a wrap. Until next time, I'm Dawn Lego, and this is Raise Nation Radio. Bye for now.